And we're back by movie magic, ladies and gentlemen. We've changed the lineup. Kev is in the building, and here we are ready for our tasting. Keith, take it away.
All right, so I'm not going to get into what I should know. Mark, why don't you give us, kind of what we should be expecting nose-wise on this, kind of as we do. We'll do the nosing, and then we'll do the palate. So, if you don't mind, if you give us what your nosing notes.
Sure. Yeah. And just for confusion, we've moved around. I am not Josh. I am Mark. In case there's any confusion here. So for me, for most of our line, and this is going to vary per consumer, per whiskey drinker. Mm-hmm. But for me, I get more of the bourbon notes on the nose and then the malt notes on the palate. Now, some people feel differently and feel opposite. But that's kind of where I land. So for us, on the nose, I get a lot of the baking spice character we were talking about before with the number 4 char. So, cinnamon and things like that. Also, very much malt forward is I get a lot of fruit. It's going to depend on the day, on what I've eaten for dinner or whatever it might be. But like right now, I get almost like a stone fruit, like a peach or a nectarine on there as well.
Very fruity.
Very fruity.
Definitely.
And other days I'll smell it and it'll smell like big red gum. Like some days, other days I just get all cinnamon. It's just,
let me ask you this: as far as batches go, is there like a different element, or is it like the same each time?
Great question. So it is. We endeavor to have consistency on, so on the lines like the 95 that we're drinking now, the 114 proof, the things that are kind of the quarter of our lineup, we try to have the consistency, but it's not exactly a recipe per se. It's more of we take 4 to 7, 4 to 8 year old barrels and we empty enough of them in aggregate on a certain profile that we basically are targeting a flavor profile more than a recipe. So one batch might be more 4 year, less 7, one might be more 6, less 5, whatever it might be. Really, it's just targeting that profile more than anything. So did that answer your question?
Yes.
And then, but it is going to drift. And one of the other ways, any brand will drift over time, no matter how big they are. But what we can't see sitting here, but beyond those barrels, there's a big 3,000 gallon blending tank. That's where we keep our whiskey unless it's a small batch or single barrel, that's where the whiskey barrels get emptied into. Mm-hmm. And we don't let that get below about 20-25% full. So there's also that kind of continuity of leaving some of the last behind, right? Okay. So yeah, but this is going to be drift over time. I think you pick up a bottle of Jack Daniels from now and 10 years ago and taste it side by side, the brand will have drifted a little bit, right, which is natural. But to Keith's question on the nosing, for me right now, I'm getting the baking spice and the fruit. Mm-hmm. So after saying it's all bourbon forward, to me, I'm actually taking this more malty than me today. That's where I am. Must be my second cup of coffee this morning.
Yep.
And then on the palate, I think it's really where all the malt comes through to me. So there is some vanilla, maybe a little less so than some bourbons might have a little bit more from that. A lot of me use that number 3 jar, which is a little more bourbon vanilla forward. But there's definitely vanilla, there's caramel for me at least. A biscuit, think of like what's that Girl Scout cookie, the one that like the shortbread cookie, kind of like that shortbready biscuit kind of character. And then, I get more of that.
Open these a meal now.
And all the flavors. Yes.
So but it hits me different on each day, but that's, some combination of those things is what I typically get. Oh, and one thing that is very prevalent, I'm not getting it as much right now today on this one. I'll see how I, taste on the 114. But this darker malt, C120, gives us a really nice cocoa character, like dark chocolate. And that is, if you line up a bunch of old line single malts, that is often one of the really beautifying characteristics of what we do is that kind of cocoa character. Again, I'm not tasting it strongly now, but I think in the 114 I might taste it.
For me, Mark, I believe that this is a wonderful springtime whiskey that I'm going to have to partake in for the springtime.
I appreciate that.
It's light. Perfect. It's refreshing. Yeah. This would go well with any of the ladies' cocktails that they like. With me, a couple drops of water, and I'm drinking this all day.
I appreciate that.
Really good.
So let's kind of pivot a little bit, come back to this fan club that you have. Can you kind of talk about that? And I think inherently that also kind of leads into some of the other bottles that we talked about in terms of what you guys also do.
Sure. So so we've got our whiskey club is called the Quarterdeck Whiskey Club. So Quarterdeck is a Navy term for basically the part of the ship where when you're in port, you enter the ship and exit, and where if dignitaries come on board or guests, you think a welcome there. So knowing that most people don't know that term, it still meant something to us as Navy guys. So we branded the club Quarterdeck Whiskey Club. And Keith and I were talking earlier before we started, we actually had a whiskey club prior to this that I think had pretty good content, and it was missing something, and it never really took off. And we kind of relaunched it as Quarterdeck in 2022 or 3. And it just new life was breathed into it, and it's been amazing. And now we went from having maybe starting off with maybe 50 or 100 members to we're well over 2,000 now, which is great. A lot are local, which is awesome. That's ideal. But also as people, move away, a lot of our people like Fort Meade, tons of people from Fort Meade come up here and then they get stationed somewhere else. So now we have people who are exposed to the brand, gotten to know us like you have, and then they live in California or Colorado or whatever, and they can still experience that because we'll give early access to people via e-coms and stuff. So at any rate, the goal is for us we wanted it to be more than, hey, here's a bottle, come buy it. That's a nice, we do want to give early access, like we do that, that's a benefit, but it was much more than engagement that you talked about before, Keith, is that we want a chance to be able to interact with every single member of that community who wants to interact with us. We want that to be an opportunity because A, we love it. You don't really start a business like this unless you want to actually interact with people who also love what you love. Yeah. And it allows us to engage with the people who support us the most. And that's been such a huge thing for us. So we have these happy hours that you're well aware of. Yep. Your seat's right back there in the Adirondack.
That's where my dog comes.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so it's great. Yeah. And one thing, we are able to do things with the club that bigger companies through no fault of their own are just too big to do. Like one thing, the last thing we'll try today, or the second to last thing rather, is a barrel pick that we just did where the quarterback club actually picked the barrel. And this is our third or fourth one. So we'll tee up 4 samples and we'll have a big event and people come in and they vote. And, we go with what the votes say. Now we tee up 4 things that we think are all good. So we're happy either way. But, the one that we prefer doesn't always win. And that's the fun. That's the club doing it.
And for you taters, that's CYPB for single malt.
And what's cool about that to me, which I have been to my fair share of events, it's so great that you can do that, not just, period that you can do it, but you can do it very locally. You can actually be there and talk to the people who are involved and bring your friends and talk about it and see this. And it's not just a one and done thing. This is what your third barrel.
At least a third.
Yep.
Yeah, third whiskey, we may have done a rum.
So just that, opportunity to go in, hear about what's in the barrel, select a barrel or vote for to select that barrel. And then folks, your input really does have an impact
100%
on the community.
100%. And it's fun for us. Like, it's just a way to just really connect with people. And the other thing we do that is, we haven't done it maybe this year yet, or last year, I think we might have skipped it, but almost every year we do a thing where we take new make whiskey and then it's just like a gas can, like filling your car. And you can go there and everybody gets a couple seconds to fill the barrel and then sign it. And then we'll take the barrel from the year prior and then that everybody sign and you get to sample and say, hey, we're filling the new one and you guys get to taste the 1-year-old, taste the 2-year-old. So just like kind of to be able to kind of experience that thing that I take for granted. I can go taste a black barrel whiskey anytime now. I mean, you guys know me, so you can too. But most people can't. And to be able to go in there and be like, well, that's what a 1-year-old whiskey tastes like. That's just something that a lot of people don't get to try. And we like to be able to offer that up.
Yeah. I mean, this event for folks I think if we're lucky enough to have done some distillery tours, this club is really like a distillery tour on steroids. You get to really experience everything throughout the year that a distillery could give you.
Agreed. And it's a party at the same time.
It's a really great party. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I think one of the best events I've been to was being able to kind of blend your own whiskey. You guys do that every year?
That was a blast. Yes. Yeah. Well, that was our first time last year.
Oh, really?
That was a blast. Yeah.
I spilled some on the floor because I couldn't get the thing closed. But in that event, it was great. You had 3 barrels and you were able to sample each barrel.
I'm sorry, we do that twice. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm confusing 2 things. You're right. Yes.
But you get to do that and bottle your own. There's a fantastic station set up.
Yep.
You're able to, hey, I want to take, barrel A and C and blend those together and then be able to bottle it, cork it, seal it,
write a little note on it.
Write a little note, purchase it, fill it your own label, folks. You're the entire
process. If they give someone else, it really is for you.
Yeah, I don't care what distillery tour you've been to. Buffalo Trace has nothing on Old Line in terms of experience. You get to do the whole 9 yards. So I messed it up. So what were you talking about? You did this year?
Oh, sorry. We did a blending event, a smaller, like a 20-person one. That's what you're asking about. Mm-hmm. That was a little bit more of a, like the one you're talking about, the bottle your own, is a lot of fun, and it's free for all is not the way to put it, but it's definitely
pretty close.
Yeah, in every positive way. Mm-hmm. This one was more like we had Jeff, one of our brand ambassadors, who's big into blending, had like everybody had beakers and all that. It was a little bit more structured, and it was great in its own way. The one you're talking about, the VYO, we do it Father's Day and Christmas time, and it's a hoot. It's a blast. I wouldn't change a thing.
it's a great gift for yourself and for dad.
That's right.
You know, or if you are a dad, it's a gift from dad to dad.
Agreed.
Again, I can't say so many good things about that club. That has really been a great experience for myself and my friend Dane. We come down and we make a fun event of doing it. You touched on blending. So one of my favorite products that you guys do is the swim call. And that's something I think you guys do a fantastic job of blending some of those experiences. What is your idea when you guys do some of those things?
That's a great question. It is part of it. It's like a learning process for us. You know, blending everything's a learning process for us. So everything we do here is kind of the first time for us. So blending is something that we kind of like all of us have probably done, mess around with at home all the time. So, and we would do the same thing here. We would just mess around with different samples and just, you know, hey, try this. About 3 years ago, maybe we started to make a conscious decision to take it a little bit. I'd say take it more seriously, but make it something that we were seriously considering putting in a bottle and offering. And that has materialized in our first two blends being Harvest Moon, which we'll taste here in a minute. Awesome. And Swim Call, which I wish I had brought out because I forgot about it until a minute ago. But which, for those not familiar, the Swim Call is a blend of our barrel-aged Caribbean rum and our American Single Malt. Oh, wow. So it's been a humbling process in the sense that, in my mind, if I can think, you know, whiskey's A and B should equal C. And sometimes that is the case, and sometimes it's not at all. Like, weirdly, I've tried to make blends sweeter a number of times with our rum finished single malt. And each time I've tried to do that, it's just made it flat. And I'm like, well, I don't know. Like, to me, that should make it sweeter. So really, for us, the biggest, I think our philosophy is we know we start off with what we want to accomplish. We can see, here's our tool chest. We have these whiskeys that we're able to use. But we've learned very quickly that we have to be open to the fact that the process might lead us in a different direction. Like Harvest Moon that we're going to try here, which we'll talk about in a minute. Originally, we set out to make a cigar blend. And the process took us to this product, this blend that was so spicy, like bacon spicy, and fall forward that we're like, well, yeah, it would be great with a cigar, but like this is just falling in glass. So we said, all right, we're going to call it Harvest Moon. So being willing to start off heading a certain direction, and if the blending process is taking you somewhere else, go with it, man. That's our philosophy, I'd say.
I don't know if you guys touched on this, but have you ever talked about how do you name
It's yes, that's a lot of brain energy goes into it. Sometimes it comes out good. Sometimes one thing that we originally we do have certain things that are like our sherry finish. This will be we've always kind of wanted to have is a little bit more unique names that speak to what's in the bottle. So Harvest Moon is a great example. Like if you hear Harvest Moon and you taste the whiskey, you're like, I get why they're calling it that. That is fall, right? Swim Call. Swim Call is in the ship when the ship anchors and the stops in the middle of the ocean. They let you go swim. Mm-hmm. For us, that was that. Hey, this is a summer easy drinking. Kind of like you were saying earlier, Josh. Like when put a cube in it, put a twist of whatever in it, and just sip it. So the naming, it's a lot of times it takes us a while to get to the name we want. I think we've had some good wins and some misses, but yeah, really it's but a lot of sometimes we'll just be like, hey, this is just our Madeira finish. We don't have a more creative way to put it, but yeah. But we like the idea of like a little bit more compelling to say Harvest Moon's coming than Madeira finishes. It has a little more behind it, a little more cult following, if you will.
I'm all in because when I tried that, saw the spring in a glass tagline, I was like, what is that? That's spring whiskey.
Yeah.
And then the second I tried it, and to everyone I've sampled it to, you should try this. This is summer whiskey. And everyone's saying kind of the same response, like, what's summer whiskey?
Yeah.
The second you try that,
you know it.
You get it. You're like, that name works so well. So I'm excited to try the Harvest.
Yeah. We have lined up here.
What you
want us to taste?
Let's do. Well, are we good on time to taste a few more?
We're not. We're here for you.
All right. Well, let's do a little Navy strength here.
We will take the burden.
We're gonna put it on our back.
So is the Navy strength is because of the higher food?
Yes. Yeah. So Navy strength historically is back when sailors used to get rations of rum essentially on those ships.
Yep.
Before things were regulated like they are now, and you pick up a bottle and the proof because it says it and it's all regulated.
Yep.
Back then, people were people were getting these things on in a barrel. Who knows if it was watered down somewhere along the way. The sailors were very sensitive to getting a watered down ration. They didn't want that. They would take a little bit of gunpowder, mix some of their ration in, and put a match to it, and either ignite it or it did. So it's kind of a binary measure of is it above proof X or below. And somebody somewhere figured out that if you delivered the sample at least 114 proof, it would consistently pass that test.
wow.
And it just took on. Now it's more just it's a heritage thing. So we like it for two reasons. Well, for a number of reasons, but one, we love our product at cask strength. But Arch and I found that we often would throw a cube in it or add a little water and bring it down a little bit. So we love this middle teens range. I absolutely love. And we're Navy guys, so it's a very nice marketing thing to kind of hook onto. So this is my personal favorite thing that, if I had to pick one item that we had to get rid of everything else, the Navy strengths would be my one.
You mentioned the bubble gum smell earlier. I smell it with this.
I've heard people say that before. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Lots of sweetness.
Yeah.
That bubble gum, bubblicious smell.
Yeah, it's just fantastic. I mean, it's a really great nose.
Wonderful fruits on the back end.
This one to me tastes a little sweeter, even though the only difference is the amount of water. It's just down a little bit less. But to me, it tastes a little sweeter. The complexity, I think it just delivers just completely differently. I'm trying to think of a fun analogy here. I thought I was trying to like driving analogy, but
you
But I leave that to me, Mark.
It's towards in. But no, this is great. This is
Thank
great.
you.
I like this.
Yeah, I mean, it really hits that. I think 114 just a great note. It's just enough. It's just there. It really gets you.
You don't feel that burn.
it goes down so easy.
Yeah.
Which is dangerous, folks. It can be.
Yes, it can.
It's a great bottle to just sip and keep sipping.
My wife, whenever I'm at home, if I'm bringing high proof like this or higher, once in a while I'll get a cube and I'll keep pouring whiskey on top. So like once I find that ratio that I want, that proof, I'll just keep tapping it. And like before I know it, I've gone through half a bottle.
Yeah.
Like, and my aunt, she's like, "What are you still drinking?" I'm like, "No, I gotta get the ratio." Then I gotta stand up, and I'm like, "I can barely do it."
No, Mark, this is really, really good. The thing I would say to you, ladies and gentlemen, thing about O-Line, it is a beautiful mix of both worlds. Single malt of this is excellent, but the care and time that they took on this makes it bourbonist. And wow, this is not something that you're going to shake your head at. 114 for my bourbon guys. This is like a 107 proof.
Yeah.
Easy going, but full of flavor. So just keep that in mind. It's well worth a try.
It's to kind of piggyback on your comment, Josh. We often describe it as a single malt for a bourbon drinker.
Yeah.
So we're not trying to be a bourbon. We love bourbon.
Yeah.
But bourbon's being done so well by so many people. That's not our swim lane. But we want to deliver to that bourbon drinker, especially that person who he or she thinks they don't like single malt because they haven't had that. Maybe they've been turned off by some of the single malt scotches they've had or whatever, which is a shame because I feel like there's a single malt scotch for everybody, but that's a different discussion. But we love to be that kind of eye opener. It's like, oh wow, like this delivers what we as American consumers want.
Yeah,
just in a different way. I describe it sometimes as like, here's an analogy. I got one now. Like I'm not a DJ, but it's the DJ booth with all the dials, all these knobs and all that. And to me, it's like if you put the DJ booth for flavors for us and a bourbon are the same. It's just the dials are at different settings, right? So it's just delivering certain things.
That's
I made up for my last one.
Right.
Josh, you're in trouble. Josh, you're in trouble.
If
you gave this bottle to someone, it didn't say what it was. Like if you took the labels off.
Yeah, just pour it.
I mean, like a bourbon drinker might be like, this is a good bourbon.
It has happened many times. 100%.
Yeah. Because you really don't. A lot of single malt, you can kind of taste some of it.
100%.
You kind of know it. Sure, but no, I don't know if it's the proof, but this doesn't taste like a single malt.
It's that beautiful gateway.
Yeah.
I think that could be to me kind of because this is actually you guys are actually one of, I would say for me, it was the single malt that kind of I first ventured into. And I think it is that kind of that the American single malt really does kind of bridge that gap between bourbon and then that more extreme kind of, so I think you're right. It really does. It gets people in. It really does kind of show people kind of what Americans can do
100%.
In this category. And like you said, that it does. I mean, if you didn't know any better, I totally agree with you. If you didn't know any better, you'd be like, man, that's a great bourbon.
Yep.
And that sounds bad, but at the same time, it's such a great, compliment to say, it's a great product that I drink a lot of.
100%.
That I think that stands out with what I really normally know.
I take that as a huge compliment because that's right in the line of what we're trying to do. So that's I appreciate that. And
I think that's the key, Mark, is that you're putting out a product that is just quality. I know we're doing some nuances in the conversation, but in general, ladies and gentlemen, this is a quality product. We've had the lower proof, and now we've had the higher proof, both excellent quality. Keep it moving, Keith.
All right. Well, yes, sir. Thank you. All right. So I was kind of trying to figure out what, you know what? I actually kind of be there, please, first. I'm going to mix up here a little bit because the last two, the Sherry and the Harvest Moon, are kind of a logical progression, and I'll explain in a minute. So this guy here, since we're talking about the Quarterdeck Whiskey Club, this is the barrel that won the last Quarterdeck Whiskey Club pick. It was Barrel B.
Try it out, Pete.
I haven't. I missed it, man. I'm sorry.
There we go.
That's why I did this, folks. Really, it's self-serving. It's a really big production to do this.
You're so selfish.
Cheat on the taste test.
So selfish.
But
And this is this is a 20. I believe a professional would have looked first for the barrel specs. So this is a 2018 fill, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
About 124 proof, and it's a non-finished barrel. It's just in virgin oak. And
It's not ready to go.
what's that? It'll be bottled. We're releasing it a week from Thursday, the 22nd.
And just to speak to all the taters, the quarter deck is where you want to be, because the quarter deck allows you access to some of these more limited releases. I think the first one I went to where we did the Founders bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, that was sold out pretty quickly. And the best way for you to get a bottle was to actually be in the quarter deck club, come to the sneak preview, be able to secure a bottle. So if you have a tater sensitivity and you want to kind of be a tater, the quarter deck club is for you.
I appreciate that.
So you said it was a
2018 fill, virgin oak, and the profile is totally different than what we just tasted, I think.
Mm-hmm.
it is.
Yeah.
Well, let me say before Mark jumps into this, biscuits.
No, the color is excellent.
Thank you.
That's why I asked about the age.
Yeah. So it'll be about a 7-year-old.
I smell the sweetness, but I don't taste the sweetness.
It's a drier palate, 100%.
Okay.
It's totally different flavor profile.
Right.
This is almost reminding me.
But I agree the nose lines up more with those, but the
Yes.
palate is different.
Yes, totally different. Like I smelled the sweetness. I was like, okay. When I tasted it, I was like, something different.
This one,
You said 125?
124, 125.
Really?
Yeah, it drinks easy.
Really?
Yeah, we get a lot. It surprises a lot of people.
You would have known that if you told me.
Do you find that in your product that things don't always drink at their proof, or they drink a little bit lighter?
I think our stuff drinks almost always like a good 10 points lower. And
Because I would agree.
that's actually one of the reasons why the first one we started with, the flagship 95, our white label used to be 86 proof, which it was a great whiskey. We loved it. For a couple of reasons, we bumped it up, not the least of which was that it was enjoyable, but it was like there was more it could deliver without sacrificing approachability. So that, so that 95 drinks just as easy as the old 86, but it just delivers more and it's higher proof. So yeah, we find that our stuff, it definitely drinks a good 10 points there.
Definitely. This definitely, if you're saying this is 124, this is drinking at like 110, maybe 108.
I buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
And this is not of the three we had a few weeks ago when we did the pick. This isn't the one that I would have picked, but that's the beauty of it is I get my chance to pick when I do a founder's barrel.
That's
Like
right.
this is not
That's
about.
right.
I don't. Arch and I and our staff might vote. Arch and I don't vote on these. It's like it's not our place. Like we tee them up and then we step back.
It's like a players only meeting.
That's right. Yeah.
And this is still in a 4-char barrel.
This is a 4-char barrel, yes, sir. Yeah,
Because I'm
and
just
it'll be.
picking so much.
It may have gotten emptied today. This is a sample we pulled for last month, but I know Jerry, our distiller, was going to empty the barrel today or tomorrow, so they already got it, Luke.
I'm just picking up so much. I can't tell if it's similar to a rye or if it's similar to a Scotch. It is just it's so good.
One of the things
it's like a Scotch on steroids, and I love Scotches on steroids.
One of the things, so one of our a friend and former employee, this guy Steve Lamb, used to run our bar, and he would point out, and what I'm picking up on now, and this is like a white pepper spice.
Yes,
That I think you'll get on our stuff, and that's, as I understand it, I'm not the ops guy. I don't run the distillery, so I'm just a knucklehead. But that baking spice that I mentioned was more prominent in the number 4 char. Also, that like that white pepper spice. I think it's a chemical called eugenol, I believe, is what I've read, that has that peppery character to it. So a lot of times people will say, "Hey, this is a single malt, malted barley only." They'll taste it. Go, "Oh yeah, how much rye is in that?" It's like, "Oh, it's only malted barley. That's why people sometimes get that rye spiciness. It's actually from the barrel in this case, but it lends that profile.
Yeah, I definitely noticed that kind of it had that wryness to me when I first tasted it. Which, I mean, it's definitely a very pleasing rye. I really enjoyed it. Again, a little spice, a really kick to it. I really enjoy.
Yeah, that kick. That each sip is like it's.
I need something
more.
All I can
And I
say,
like that
ladies, y'all picked a good bottle.
They did a great job, and and I love that it's. I mean, as it should be. It's so different, right? I mean, you put them. Like I'm yelling now. Sorry, I get drinking. I start yelling. You know, it's the Irish in me. But you lined these three things we've had up and didn't tell you what they were. They were family, which is great, which we want. But I just love that they are distinctly different.
Very distinct, all three so far. Very distinct, ladies and gentlemen. And again, for you knuckleheads out here, this 124 does not drink at 124. The peppercorn spice that's in there from the 4-char barrel is going to give it more of a rye flavor, but it's not a rye.
I think the only thing that could really get you is that spiciness. Because I didn't taste it at first, but as soon as you said it, it just started kicking in.
Sure. Yeah.
Each sip after that, it's like boom, 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 coming. But this is enjoyable.
And the spice, I think, for me, the spice kind of lingers a little bit.
Yeah.
So, some of you had said earlier about Jerry. So, I didn't even know this till today. You've got everything that you guys do in terms of the barrels, aging, and the bottling. It's all done here.
So the production, the distillation is in 2 spots here in Columbus, Ohio, like we talked about earlier. But everything we produce, whether it's distilled here or distilled in Ohio, within a month or whatever, it's distilled. So every barrel we own right now, you can be in touch right now.
And folks, you can't see it, but behind the camera, that's where we're doing all the bottling.
Oh yeah, it's right behind that wall of barrels there. And any sort of blending or choosing barrels to empty for batching, all that's done here. And then one thing that I forgot to mention, which is an interesting distinction for American single malt, is that one of the limitations that we have as far as being American single malt is it can be only distilled at 1 distillery. So we distill at 2, which we are compliant because as long as we don't marry barrels that were distilled in Baltimore with barrels that were distilled in Ohio, we're compliant. So earlier, when Keith and I were in the backyard looking for a light, I was pointing out that a lot of the barrels that we had produced here, most of them are 30-gallon barrels. And everything that we do in Ohio is in 53s. And one of the reasons we did that is that as we phased out the small barrels into the big barrels, we loved that 30-gallon profile. And we didn't really want to let it go. And I'm like, well, since we can't marry those together with the Ohio barrels anyway, we just couldn't call it a single malt. Let's just embrace the difference. So we're doing double pot still distillation here. We're doing column and pot out there, 30-gallon barrels here, 53 with what we produce out there. So we're embracing those differences. Since we can't, you can't beat them, join them. Like, all right, you want to let us marry them together? We'll just embrace the differences.
So what is is there a taste difference between the 53 and the 30?
100%. I'd say there's yes and yes. The yes, there's a difference in the profile. I'd say that the 30s are a touch more oaky. At about 5 or 6 years, you want to start looking at getting out of oak because then you can almost get too much oak. But they deliver, I'd say, the caramel and the baking spice on steroids. But those barrels are also different because we're using double pot still distillation here. So there's a little bit more of the heavier congeners, like what would be sometimes called parts of the tails of the run will come through in a pot. So the mouthfeel is maybe a little richer, which depends, pick your poison. Some people like that, some people don't, right? I tend to like a little bit crisper. Other people just love that kind of real buttery, oily. Exactly. So that'll be, the stuff here will be a little more buttery, oily. There's a pot still kind of funk that you get with any pot still whiskey that you get here, which again, people who want that go crazy for it. So they're just wonderfully different products. And again, you line them up, you'd be like, okay, I get that these are cousins, but they're not twins.
Amazing. Oh, my question. I'm so sorry. I'm enjoying the aftertaste.
It's hard not to.
So the stuff coming from Midwest, is it proof down there or is it proofed here?
Proofed here. So when so it goes in everything we do, whether it's here or there, the barrel entry proof with, I'd say almost zero exception, is 120 proof. We've just found that works for us. So and then it'll do its thing in the barrel, come out at 124, 132, whatever it might be. We just get the barrels, they produce them out there to our spec, ship them to us, and the rest is all here.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's been a great relationship.
And it's great to have that kind of control, but it's also very eye-opening, when you come in these spaces. I mean, again, I've been here a couple of times, and I did not realize how many barrels you have back here, what you guys do so much back here. It's just incredible that, again, we're talking about, going to these places and getting to see, you really get to see these kind of things at a place that's so community-driven and so comfortable.
It's overwhelming. Like we're not even halfway through the place, but just this one view, it's like, wow, it's a lot.
Nice to, once in a while I got to stop and realize, like, I'm pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Something you just said to it's funny, like, it's those we're saying earlier, we try to look and behave like we're bigger than we are, but we're 5 full-time guys, and then a bunch of part-time bartenders, brand ambassadors that are awesome, but they have their full-time gigs. We're lean, so we come in on most Mondays, me and Arch are huddling, trying to check emails as well, so it's, we kind of all do everything.
But that's how you scale.
We all clean toilets.
Yeah, you scale. That's for me, because I support a lot of Maryland distillers. I think that's how you scale successfully. I think a few of our Maryland distillers, one which recently closed, tried to scale too much, too quickly. And I think what you guys are doing is the proper way to do it. What Baltimore Spirit Company is doing is the right way to do it. With Smith's Distilling, they're keeping it tight until they see that tail end come up.
I agree. And we, earlier on, when Keith got here a little early, we were talking about how, we made some choices early in the life of the business where we went out a little too aggressive on some production. And luckily we were able to recognize it and throttle back pretty quickly. But man, like we still live with some of the repercussions of that, right? Let alone if we had kept doing that. So yeah, we learned very quickly, like, hey, just if you can get the company healthy and profitable, which we're just after 10 years, well, almost 9 years selling whiskey, we're just now, profitable. Like, that take a long time. But if you can be profitable, make good whiskey, treat your people right, everything else fall into place.
But you guys are, you're more like a community brand in a sense. Even though, like you said, some people do move away, it's still community because shipping to.
Oh, that and people come back and come visit. Yeah. Like people come, they move away. We'll see them, and sometimes I don't even know they moved away. Like, I haven't seen you in a while. Like, I live in Chicago now.
Yeah,
but they come back and they visit, which is awesome.
Yeah,
and folks, really, kind of what I think is a really good part to kind of talk about when it comes to Old Line is that, like, everyone who really, to me, who is a part of Old Line does it because they enjoy it and they want to be there. Even I was at a liquor store and there was an Old Line tasting. It's one of your brand ambassadors. And those brand ambassadors are working with you because they love the product and they want to do it. It's not someone at a liquor store who's just set up to sample things out because this is what they get kind of paid to do and that's the day job. You have people who really care about your brand, being the ambassador, being the voice of the brand.
Agreed.
We're
lucky.
Again, that great community. You say it's luck, but I do think you've built a very strong community here, and that's what's great when you live in a small city like Baltimore, smallish, but like Baltimore, where you go to these things, and again, it's a great community where you can actually come into events, see the people who own the company, who put their heart and soul into it, but knowing that people who are actually at the liquor store pouring you a sample of the Navy strength actually care about the brand.
I love hearing that, and it's a feedback loop that we are thrilled with. That, like, with the brand ambassadors, they're amazing. But even just coming to the event here, the bar staff is awesome.
Yes,
they are happy because you guys are awesome, and you guys treat them well. And I can think of literally, I can remember right now. Maybe it's been 3 or 4. I can think of one person in 9 years that I thought, like, that person needs to get thrown out. Like, other than that, like, people are we just draw such a great crowd, and it's just feedback loop. You're happy, they're happy, you're happy, and it's just, we love it. And it's funny, one of our brand ambassadors, Dave Bias, awesome guy, he's in here drinking, all the time, because he and his wife love it here. So they're more like customers, but he also likes to do brand ambassador, and he'll get his paycheck and be like, oh, this money looks familiar.
That sounds like something I would do, ladies and gentlemen. I drink my check.
That's right.
I don't know if you guys touched on the labels.
Not really.
Like, these labels tell a story. Like, Just can you talk about
Yeah,
why,
of course.
why you guys decided to go in this direction here?
Yeah, so what Kevin's got here, I don't know if you can see it in the camera, but it's a kind of a spider flavor wheel that we put on maybe 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
And we realized a couple of years ago that no one really cared about the little blurb on the back of, you know, like, I mean, no one really cared. Our first one we had a misspelling actually. Well, we used the wrong spelling of a word. We used the word compliment, like flavors compliment, but we used the version of like, I'm going to pay you a compliment. And one of our investors, like, you get a misspelling on there? It's like, all right, Tom, we'll get used to it because he's ordered 10,000. So, but it was, we had that blurb that we would always spend all this time trying to figure. I'm like, you know what? Like, let's just put a flavor wheel. Like, let's put, one of the challenges we have as an American single malt is that people hear single malt, they think Scotch, they think smoky. And I think we all know that isn't always the case, but that is the American consumer has that. Yep. So the average drinker has that association. So if you pick this up and you're like, oh, what's going on here? You see, oh, brown sugar, baking spice, cocoa. Like, all right.
No, I mean, like I've been sitting here and I've been trying to listen to you guys, but at the same time, I'm looking at these back labels and I'm like, I've never seen anything like this before. And it's so interesting to me. And that's why I wanted to ask you.
Well, grab that of the Harvest Moon there. Look at the back of that one. So for an small batch, or like these are the profile of these are mainstay products. So like we said earlier, the variation of how many 4s, 5, 6-year-olds are going to vary over time.
Right.
But a small batch or a single barrel, yeah, you guys can see we actually have just the specs in there. You know, if it's a single barrel, it's going to say the barrel number, date was filled, date was empty, entry proof, exit proof. You know, our life was just made so much easier by just like, we don't have to think about a blurb, just put the information. And people love it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it touches on a point that is really important these days. I mean, kind of gone are the days of, especially when it came to bourbon, is just throw something out there. It's a new bourbon, people will buy it. A lot of consumers are looking for transparency. And I've always believed you guys have been really transparent, but also putting some of the transparency on the bottle itself, that makes a huge statement.
I appreciate that. When we first started out, it was right when was it Templeton Rye, I think, got in a little hot water by making some implications about that, you know, that weren't true. And people were very gun shy for a bit. And we put everything on the bottle. And like our philosophy was always, I'd much rather have you pick up the bottle and just say, hey, say distilled in Ohio on the back. And maybe we all know from having like that it's a lot more than that. But if you see that and you say, you know what, that's not for me, that is 10 times out of 10 better for me than you buying it and then later feeling like you were misled. I would much rather have you make a false assumption. If you still spend your money, fine, it's not for you. I'd rather just be over transparent and then it just get, and
because it's a lot easier because you do see a lot of people online now. They're blind buying stuff. What do you guys think about this? I don't know about this. Why does it taste like this? And what do I do next? What do I, suggestions and everything. I'm online all the time on different bourbon and whiskey pages, and you see people, oh, I think I wasted my money, as opposed to reading a label and saying, oh, okay, here's what I can expect. I think it's up my alley.
No surprises.
Let me buy it.
And I'm going to be selfish here and let Mark tell us what we're having next.
Oh, yeah.
It smells delicious.
So this is our, we call it our double oak series. And double oak is a term that I think can be confusing. Yes. Typically double oak, I think of
double oak and toasted.
Double oak, I 100% agree. Yeah. And for double oak, I tend to think of like a Woodford double oak as far as like going into virgin oak twice. The reason we use the term is that for reasons unbeknownst to us, the feds years ago told us that American single malts weren't allowed to use the word finished on their bottle.
Really?
Which it's not true. It's just what they told us. But once you get a no, making that a yes, right? So this used to be called our American single malt, sherry finished. Well, when we got that, we're like, what else can we call it to indicate this has been in 2 barrels? So we double oaks what we went with, and now we've since embraced it. But so the double oak series is first that virgin oak. That's our anchor profile, our backbone. And then into a sherry, ex-Madeira, ex-port, whatever it might be. This is the one, the sherry finish is one we've been doing the longest. This is Oloroso sherry. We've done some PX as well. This would have been about that 4 to 7-year-old profile, and then an additional year in that Oloroso sherry cask. Everything we do for the double oak, unless it's a single barrel, to date, we've always done 100 proof. 100 proof is kind of it's right down the fairway. Like it's really hard to go wrong at 100.
Yeah.
Very safe proof. And for me, your point about the nose, Josh, to me, it's like all the things you'd find in like a holiday fruitcake, like, molasses, vanilla, brandied cherries, all those sorts of things. And whether you like fruitcake or not, the smell is awesome.
The smell of fruitcake.
And I do like fruitcake. Fruitcake is a bad rap.
It's kind of misleading.
Yes. Very misleading.
Yeah. But you make sense.
let me just say this, Mark, is that I've had many Oloroso barrels this year because it was crazy popular this year. This is one of the best noses.
I appreciate
I've
that.
had. This is really, I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not just fanboying. I'm telling you, if you like Oloroso barrels, and this nose is just, wow, really good.
I can't tell what I like better, the PX or the Olo. And it depends on the day. But yeah, Olo is what we've done most of.
Yeah.
And then for me, the cocoa comes through. On
Yeah,
this.
that's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
Very much so.
Like
Yes.
like those chocolate cakes
Yes.
with the cherries in them or whatever, you know. Yeah.
Really good.
And the reason we led into this one actually is that we'll taste. I should have that hard. So the sherry that we're sipping now, the last one, at least the last one we have out here, who knows what we'll get into back here, is the Harvest Moon that we talked about earlier. And that's a blend of, was it 62%, I'm sorry, 38% of the sherry. And 62% is actually a very, very, very lightly touched Amburana finish. Very, like almost like just a hint of it. I mean, it's noticeably, you can taste it, but Amburana can be very overpowering.
Very good.
So this,
So this is a blend of Amburana finish and sherry. Exactly.
okay.
So it'll, but I like to do this one last because it'll with that Amburana, it'll stay on your palate.
Okay.
And I'll let you guys taste it first. This reminds me of a cookie that we would have when we were kids.
Okay.
I won't tell you which one, but I'm curious if anybody else feels the same way. But and to the earlier comment about our blending, I mentioned like, we've embraced take where the process takes you. This is not at all what I thought we were going to end up with when we started this process. Not at all.
This sherry cast is like perfect out of 100.
The one I love it. Yeah.
Perfect at 100.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are not fanboying. This
No,
is
it's
truly
perfect. Like
good whiskey. Make sure if you're not in the area, go online. Are you shipping everywhere?
42 states. Most likely, if you're watching, most likely we can ship to you.
Like
So,
a blind
thank you.
buy, this would drive people crazy.
Yeah.
No, this really, it would drive people crazy. If you would sit there and try to guess the proof point, you would not guess 100.
Yeah, this does not drink 100.
It does not drink 100. You would think 110,
Mhm.
115, but it's good though. It has a lot of flavor. The front and the back end, the nose is great. The nose is, this is good.
For
This is good though.
And for me, kind of like if someone I couldn't get them with the Navy or the flagship, this is one of those ones I pull out. This is the one where I'm like, hey, just try something different.
Sure.
So let me
This is another great opportunity to get into the kind of finished but double oak. Try that brand and to try that brand. So it's just another one where I've had some really good success. I have a few bottles at home, obviously from Baltimore. I have a few bottles, and really surprising to me how many people I've turned on to that and really enjoy that. I was just like, wow, it's really great that people really embrace that kind of product. And again, if it's something that they're not used to, it's another, hey, you didn't quite like this, but try this. You might be surprised how much you really enjoy this.
I appreciate that.
So let me ask you, what is your favorite, and then what would you recommend?
So I really like the Navy Strength. As I did miss out for the event, I did not miss the Harvest Moon. I was here for that one. I made sure I picked up a bottle. I do like, for me, I liked the flagship and the Navy Strength. I do enjoy those, but I also like to buy whiskey throughout the year. And kind of what excites me about being a member of the Quarter Deck is being able to try to get these other bottles that are more limited and just something new. And, after a while, I just kind of put a lot more trust into Old Line, where I know that the bottle is going to be fantastic when I come in. And just the transparency. You come in, you have a tasting. There's no obligation. Just come try it. That's the event, about it. So yeah, I do. Right now, I think Slimco is probably my favorite. The Harvest is fantastic as well. I think they're my top two. Just really, it's exciting to kind of find those limited things that they're just experimental, and it's okay. They're here. They last for a while, and it's up to you guys. If you can't produce it for long, it's great that we're able to try it and enjoy it. And again, we have these other great products that, to go out through the year.
I appreciate that very
And
much.
as we're pouring our last tasting on camera, we're going to let Mark tell us what he believes to be the most important expression of his whiskey that he thinks that shows the best example of what they do.
I'm actually gonna run home to mama with what I mentioned earlier. As far I think it's the 114 proof.
Okay. Flagship.
Yeah, the Navy Strength 114.
Oh, Navy Strength. I'm sorry.
I think that is, and when you say important, I'm thinking of one of the biggest things we're trying to do here is, again, like convince that American bourbon and rye consumer that, like, we're not trying to take anybody away from that. That'd be crazy. Why we couldn't succeed if we wanted to, but hey, you can expand into a new realm that delivers all those things you love, just in a very, very different way. And I think that the Navy strength does that the best. I think that sends that message most clearly, in my opinion. So I think that's the most, in my opinion, the most important thing we do.
Amazing.
If anything we do is important, we make whiskey, right? World's going to turn if we stop. But to use the term loosely, I'll say it.
Now, again, this fall harvest is the one you intended to go towards the cigar,
more
blend
cigar
era.
blendy, which what that even means, I know is kind of up for debate. But I will say that where this landed, I would not have conceived of. And what was happening was this is our second iteration of it. But the first time we did it last year was our first real push into a blend that we took seriously. And we were trying to blend. We would have this very like regimented. Okay, here's the samples we're working with at this proof. We're going to do, this is 20, 20, 30, 30. This one will be 10, 50. It was just too complicated. And finally, I remember we landed on something. We're like, okay, let's just sit on this. We think we like it. But Arch and I were both kind of like, this project might just get kicked a year because we're not going to put it in, so we're really proud of it. And I was just bored one day or frustrated. I just started to keep it simple and just started doing pairs of things and landed on this sherry Oloroso combination. And actually the Oloroso, sherry and Amburana. And the Amburana, we always were avoiding that. We didn't want to get into that business. The only reason we had that was that a woman that we know, Kim Lageman up in Philly, she did a barrel pick. She picked a barrel and she said, hey, I'd like you guys to take these two little spirals of Amburana, put them in the barrel and just monitor it for every day, wherever it is. And when it's got enough, pull it out and I'll buy it. Well, ended up that she really only wanted half a barrel, which is fine. We're like, all right, we'll figure out something to do with it. So we had this half barrel and all that. This was a full 53-gallon barrel that had these two little spirals for 15 days. That's it. And we were like, all right, there's something here. Because it was enough cinnamon toast crunch to be interesting, but not so much that you're just like one and done. So anyway, the lesson I learned, at least for me and my palate, keeping it simple was way more productive.
Too much to ask her first name so that we can give her a thank you.
Kim,
I just stuffed the notes on this.
Kim Lageman.
We don't need the last name.
Oh, sorry. Kim L.
So because this is our last tasting, we're going to do our traditional Kim on the nose.
Kim on the nose.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you really smell that.
Oh my goodness.
But it's amazing to me
This
knowing
is amazing.
after hearing how much or how little of it actually is, how impactful that product is.
And Rosso is so strong.
It's
This is
just
perfect.
I love it. And it's so, you guys understand now we say fall in a glass. Like that is, it's just, if you release this in February, it'd be good. But like this is October, baby.
Yeah.
This is everyththing. And
Yes.
This is everything.
You're right.
October through December, this is everything.
I'm sorry, I cheated. I already tasted it. So,
Because we were going to do our traditional.
so September, October.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I'll tell you my flavor. I'll tell you what I think.
Can you wait till after On The Palate?
Yes, that's what I just said. I'll wait.
As per our tradition, ladies and gentlemen, On The Palate.
on the palate. Thank you, gentlemen. We going down the hatch or?
Mm,
All right. I'm going to do what you guys.
We're
do.
savoring.
Joy.
No, we're
That's
savoring.
fantastic. That really is.
The back end on
Oh my
this,
goodness. You know what?
I'm a back end guy. I'm a
So
back end
good.
guy. I
So
love the
good.
back end.
And that's why I trust them.
This
We've had this.
Everything.
I wish you wouldn't have told me it was a blend.
Interesting. Okay.
Leave it
I
out.
wish you wouldn't have told me it was a blend.
Oh my goodness.
Now I can tell it's a blend. That's the weird thing about
that
it.
is
Like I
amazing.
can tell, like I can taste this.
Mm.
I can taste some of this on the back end, and it's back end.
It is it lingers with you.
Yeah.
It's, You guys
So
remember-
which one was the spicy one?
oh, the spice was most prominent, I think. Well, in the beat. Yeah.
Yeah. Really good.
It's it's not like sweet. It's just like a savory back end.
So this is not everybody agrees with me on this. Actually, a lot of people disagree. But my uncle Richard, he used to smoke a pipe.
Yeah.
And he would smoke just like on a sweet, fragrant pipe tobacco.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this smells like his pipe tobacco.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh,
And,
definitely smells like that.
He had this old Jeep and he had a German Shepherd. So the car was like smelled like dog, pipe, and like dude. It was the most like masculine
For
aroma.
sure.
And then cookie that I mentioned earlier. This, you guys remember Fig Newtons? There's an
Yes.
Apple Newton.
Yeah.
Yes.
This, I don't know why this tastes like exactly like an Apple Newton to me.
Yes. But let me tell you, Mark,
A superior Newton to the Fig.
our audience got mad at me for saying Fig Newton.
Did
It's
they?
like Fig Newton and a
Really?
whiskey. I was like, yes. it
I stand
tastes
by you
like
on this one.
Not this one. I hadn't had this yet, but I had a whiskey.
Yeah.
And it tastes like Fig Newton. And I said it on the show, and they were like, doesn't taste like Fig Newton. So, ladies and gentlemen, Apple Newton.
Apple Newton.
Apple Newton.
I will fight anybody who disagrees.
That's why we came up with so the background behind the biscuits. In one show, we had this really luscious, I don't remember what bottle it was. I think it was the Heaven Hill 17,
Okay.
and it was so luscious. And I just kept saying, so viscous. I think I said it like 7 times in the episode. And they were putting in the comments, why you keep saying viscous? So now, viscous.
You guys find that up and like do that thing where they edit it, so all you is just you saying viscous.
Yes.
Like,
I love it. I'm telling you, this is amazing. I just want to say thank you so much. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service to the whiskey community as well to the United States. But
Thank you, Josh.
what you guys are doing here at Old Line is important. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just say that. It is wildly important. In this day and time when things can disappear, to have something as good as experiences matters. When we live in a society where just buying something is a thing, they're giving you an experience here, and they're giving you something that they poured time and their heart into. And if I can't say anything other than that, it's well worth it. They're shipped to 42 states. If you're in the DMV area visiting, Baltimore is a great place to fly into. BWI, right down the street. Come up, come in, have a drink. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you so
Josh.
much.
Thanks, Keith. Thank you,
Thank you.
Josh.